Good afternoon and welcome to your most favorite youth show. And yes, you did guess it right. You are watching Expressions, which did move our time slots to Mondays at 5 p.m. And I will be quarantining with you tonight. Igama lami nguNombuso Umntazana wakwaMahlangu. Namuhla ngikuphathele ezimnandi ezobuya zikhuthaze. I have a story of Megan Hunter, who's been living with a rare disease for almost 16 years. Megan has had to live with a mask and hand sanitizers like we are doing now, and she'll be sharing her story of how she's been championing this lifestyle. Let's take a look at her story.
Megan Hunter's story has captivated followers of her blog since she started documenting her life as a patient of myasthenia gravis. Since her diagnosis 13 years ago, Megan's health has been an unbearable roller coaster that she tackles one day at a time.
It's an autoimmune neuromuscular condition, and what happens is the message between the nerves and the muscles doesn't get through. So I'll know I have to swallow, but my muscles don't. So my food will just sit in my throat. Or I'll know I have to talk, but I sound like this and not like my normal self. Walking, talking, lifting my arms up, all of that is affected. It's my tongue, it's my vocal cords, it's my chest. I can't form the words. It often feels like my tongue is too big in my mouth because it just doesn't want to work the way it should. The treatment I'm on at the moment destroys my immune system. So when I'm out in public, I can't pick up any cold or flu or whatever because that's bad. And I have no immune system, so it'll really hit me hard. So I have to wear a mask out in public. But I didn't want a normal medical mask. I wanted something bright and cheerful and more. But the looks that I get and the judgment, I suppose because it's not normal. I was diagnosed at 15, and before that I was a perfectly healthy child. I had none of the normal childhood illnesses. Never had mumps or chickenpox. I never even had the flu. I did dancing, I did sport, I was active. And then suddenly one day I couldn't smile. And then I couldn't swallow my food and I couldn't pronounce my words. And it was almost like overnight that this was happening. Initially they told me I was anorexic because I wasn't swallowing. And that was terrible because I knew that wasn't true. But for a doctor to say that, my poor mother battled with hearing that. And it took about 3 months before I got my proper diagnosis.
The diagnosis caused much more confusion as she had never heard of this before.
The doctor had to write it down, draw pictures for us. I think we all just sort of sat there in silence for a while, like, what? But it was also so nice to finally have a name for it and to know that it wasn't all in my mind. There was something wrong.
Megan's family saw her through the changes that she had to endure as a teenager, and that encouraged her to fight harder to remain positive. And with that love, Megan was able to build a life for herself in her marriage of 5 years.
My husband is 1 million. I mean, how many young guys would stick around with something like this? He loved me for who I am. If I'm having a bad day, he'll make me a bed on the couch and bring me supper. He loved me for who I am. And I love him with all that I am.
I believe that Megs and I were brought together for a reason, and I believe that I'm able to handle, I'm able to handle what challenges this illness brings. The treatments are, my heart just breaks for her because they are intense. They are, very heavily medicated, and she spends lots of time in hospital. And I can only just imagine what it's like for her.
Together as a unified couple, they continue to live positively, even on days where hope seems to be the only thing that keeps them together, when Megan is in hospital fighting for her life.
You know, it definitely makes you appreciate your life and just how much we take it for granted. And it's not like we intend on doing it. It's not like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, you know, I can walk or I can talk, or you just reflect and go, wow, you know, I can talk without any effort, without any problems. I must be grateful for that. And so, you know, through those type of things, through her having to be in ICU, and you know, she can't just go into a day ward or anything. She has to go into ICU and be around death sometimes, you know, and how mentally draining it must be on her, and it's intense. So, you know, we do grow slightly more immune to it than the everyday person, but it still impacts us. So, you know, we always hope and pray for a longer term solution.
I think he knows how to listen. Often people try and fix what's going on, and sometimes I just want to get off my chest how it made me feel, and Warren understands that. He'll wrap me in his arms and just say, it's all right, tomorrow is a better day.
Sakwamukela kodwa umbukeli, and September izandla zakho uzihlambile. We continue with the story of hope and share courage. We continue to follow a young lady who's been living with a rare illness since her teenage years, and she's had to wear a mask for most of those years to protect her weak immune system. Let's take a look at her story.
Megan Hunter likes to be seen as a survivor rather than a patient of myasthenia gravis.
I'm more than my condition. I love my friends, I love my family, I love my animals. So I'm not just my illness, and that's what we have to remember.
Megan and her husband had to adjust their goals in their marriage in order to accommodate Megan's health.
So, because of all my treatment that I've had over the years, that's messed up all my reproductive system. So we've had 2 rounds of IVF, but unfortunately no kids. And now, because of how my health is at the moment, it's not fair to have a child as I am, because I might not be able to pick them up, I might not be able to look after them, and that's not right. That's not fair.
We've been married 5 years, and it is your next progressive step. I think it's maternally something that, you know, you're built to do, and there's always going to be that little piece of the puzzle that's missing until you make a complete family. So yeah, it's very tough. There's days where you see like beautiful kids running around, and you know, all your friends around you, because of our age, you know, everyone's having kids, and yeah, so it takes a lot of emotional and mental strength to deal with that. Especially for me. You know, Megs as well. I mean, she's always wanted to be a mother. And when you get told, you know, it's going to be extremely difficult, when things happen that the medication has affected your body so much that it's put everything out of sync, and, you know, you've gone for specialized fertility treatment and it's not working. Yeah, you get to a stage where you have to decide, are we going to pursue it? Or are we going to then just settle? We are always faithful that we can have a miracle child.
With Megan not being able to have children of her own, she has learned to be more compassionate and share her life with those who are less fortunate. She is a volunteer at the Rare Bear organization that supports women and children who are destitute.
It's something that Rare Diseases South Africa does together with Bryanston Bible Church, and we work with all of these wonderful ladies, and we've given them empowerment and the ability to be able to earn an income. They make all the most beautiful crochet animals, and we come here and we teach them new animals. We teach them new stitches, and we encourage them to just do better and better and be able to earn an income that they can rely on.
Megan is spunky. She's, I would describe her as a bit of a firecracker, which is a very good thing. So she's full of energy and she's always ready and excited to do something new and try something, but at the same time, she's an administrator. You know, she knows how to get things done and she knows how to focus on keeping her eye on the prize. Experience, it drives empathy. This thing about walking in people's shoes is trite, a bit of a cliche, I suppose, but the reality is once you've had an experience, you can now begin to relate yourself to that person. And so I would say that what Megan is going through must have definitely changed her. I assume that she shapes other people through that as well, and she identifies with people strongly.
Her involvement in this project has enabled her to look at circumstances outside of her own, shaping her understanding of many other forms of struggles in life.
Welcome back to the last leg of our show. Megan is not the only one living with the rare disease in South Africa. Let's go have a look at what Rare Disease SA is doing to help others like Megan.
Megan Hunter has turned her struggles into a tangible change that has shaped the lives of those who live with invisible diseases.
I work for Rare Diseases South Africa, and we help all patients throughout South Africa who have a rare condition. We help find them support, we help them get the right treatment, we try and improve their quality of life.
My son was diagnosed with a rare disease at the age of 11 months, and at the time there was really no support available to rare disease patients in South Africa. So rare diseases came about really from it was a cathartic thing for me to try find understanding as to why we had been given a child that was so sick. And reality, sort of set in, and I realized that if we were going to have to go through this journey, I wanted it to be for the improvement of other people's lives. So we started up essentially what was supposed to be a support group, and then it grew much quicker than what we had anticipated into being the organization it is today.
It is her work with Rare Diseases South Africa that has shaped her to drive change in how society views people with invisible diseases.
But I want to break the stigma that's associated with invisible illnesses or people who are different. Because in the end, what is normal? Who decides what's normal? And so I want people to just understand and love us for who we are.
I didn't realize how scared I was until the doctor told me that he wanted to do the COVID-19 test. I had gone to Natal for my mum's 70th birthday, and it was the night that Cyril first spoke to us about closing the schools was the day before that I was meant to fly back to Joburg. So we were unsure if the flights were going to carry on, if I was going to be able to get home. And I did get home, and that night I started with fevers, and I was going hot and then freezing cold, and I was coughing all night, my chest was sore, and let me tell you, it is awful. You feel like they're trying to kill your brain. They put this thing into your nose, the swab, and it has to go all the way back to like here. So you're sitting in the room, and the thing going right back, it was really sore. And then you have to wait about 24 to 48 hours before you get your results. And that was quite terrifying because you have to write down the names of all the people that you've been in contact with for the past 2 weeks. And thinking about that, it was my husband, my work colleagues, my family, my mum and my aunts are part of the more potential to get COVID-19. And I was thinking if they do, it could be because of me. And that really scared me a lot. But I was thrilled when the doctor phoned and said it did come back negative. and it's just bronchitis. Observing all the sanitization has been part of my life for so long. I have hospital grade cleanser in my house. I have a sanitizer in my handbag the whole time. And so seeing everyone panicking about this, I think maybe now people will understand those of us with chronic conditions a little bit more. So that's one positive that's come out of it for us with rare conditions. But I think with the lockdown, we all need to really appreciate this time with our families. How often do we get 3 weeks to just spend quality time with our loved ones? Obviously, following a healthier diet is always better. It's better for everyone. So more fruit and vegetables. I add collagen and protein powder to my breakfasts or to smoothies. And then also I have a superfood powder that I throw in there too. Zinc is really good to help improve your immune system. And yeah, I just think try and make your healthier choices. Don't go for just sweets and carbs that aren't going to do much. Try and be as healthy as you possibly can, because you never know when your health is going to be taken from you. For exercise, I try and go to the gym, but obviously that's shut down now. So what I try and do is take my dogs for a little walk around our garden just to get outside. There's also some great free workouts that are available online. A lot of my friends are doing workouts and putting it out on their Instagram, so it's fun to follow those classes as well. I think the shutdown is going to make people think up new ideas. Like there's that fun one that's going around where people put washing up liquid on the floor and they pretend to run like on a treadmill. So I think we've just got to come up with interesting ways. Maybe it's vacuuming your whole house to like get your heart rate up before you do something. Yeah. It's all of those little steps to becoming healthier and doing more exercise. This is such a great chance for us to spread kindness. We're not around people, but we do still have an impact on those around us because of social media and the internet. So why not choose to rather spread kindness and send the messages to people, tell them that you miss them, have a group phone call with your family and play board games remotely. Just really appreciate this time and be as kind to everyone that you possibly can be.
As I'm walking down the empty streets of what is known as a student hub here in Braamfontein, we can still keep in touch and encourage one another through our social media pages on SABC1 Expressions on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. But from myself and the rest of the Expressions team, until next week Monday, it's a goodbye for now.